We've all heard that saying about a woman scorned, but damn. So Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, tells the story of Harley Quinn trying to find her own identity and place in the world after she breaks up with the Joker, and along the way meets up with a couple of the badass chicks. But we're back in the DC universe once again, everybody. We have Birds of Prey, or the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, long-ass motherfucking subtitle, or just the Harley Quinn movie, which is what it should have been called. Nonetheless, we have another DC movie to talk about. I gotta be honest, this one is probably the least excited that I have ever been for a DC movie. Even when they were on kind of their down streak and we pretty much expected the DC movie to have quite a bit of problems when we went to see it, I still had a lot of hype. This one, the idea from Generation never really appealed to me very much. You know, they used to have the whole Gotham City Sirens idea, which was kind of a version of this, and then that went away. Then they were talking about doing a Harley Quinn standalone movie, and then that kind of went away. And they were talking about doing a Jared Leto Joker and Harley film, and that obviously went away. And then it was going to be Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, and then it just became Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn. Seemed, by the subtitle, to be kind of just an addition in there. And the trailers didn't help things. The trailers didn't really appeal to me. They didn't really show anything aside from a bunch of flashy characters that I recognize. Nothing really drew me into this film. So I walked in with very low expectations, almost no expectations. I just brought my kids, said, let's have a good time at the movies. Hopefully, at least I know Harley Quinn's gonna be good. So was the rest of the movie good? Before I get into my thoughts on this film, guys, please, if you are not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button if you like what you see and stick around for some more. Like and share this video if you enjoy this one and you want to spread it out there. And also, if you enjoy this channel so much that you want to support it beyond the like and the subscribe button, check out down below for the link to my Patreon page. It's the best way to support this channel and help this channel grow and get cool exclusive privileges for your eyes only, such as review requests. That's a very popular one, so please check that out down below. But now, Birds of Prey. Well, starting off with the positives, obviously, we'll go ahead and get that one out of the way. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She's awesome. She's just as good, if not better, than she was in Suicide Squad. She was one of the standout moments, or not moments, one of the standout pieces of Suicide Squad, and as many people trash that movie, and it is my least favorite of the DC films thus far, everybody pretty much in unison said, but more of her, please. And this is more of her. This is her kind of getting her own standalone movie. She gets to break the shackles away from Joker, tell her own story, be her own character, and Margot Robbie embodies Harley Quinn perfectly. Like there's certain comic book performances where an actor or an actress just embodies a character. You get obviously Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., you get Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. Margot Robbie is in that conversation. Obviously she hasn't had as many films or reached the heights of those two characters, but when you see Margot Robbie, half of your brain is thinking, it's Harley Quinn.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one.
And she's fun in this. You know, this whole movie kind of takes the style and the tone almost like this movie takes place in Harley Quinn's head to some degree, because it's very much jumps around in the story, kind of Guy Ritchie style, where you get a piece of the way through the story, then they have to kind of rewind and tell you what caused the situation you're currently watching, and then after about, 7 or 8 minutes of backstory, then it goes back, and it does that 2 or 3 times, and she's got a lot of voiceover and narration, and the style as far as the visuals where, there's a point in the movie where a lot of people want Harley Quinn dead because she's no longer tied to the Joker, so she no longer has the protection of the Joker, so she'll come across an enemy and it'll show the name of the character kind of written like she scribbled on the screen herself and what grievance that they have with her. It's a very cool style that they have in this film that just kind of adds to how cool the character of Harley Quinn is. And if nothing else, even if you walk away from this movie not liking this one, just like Suicide Squad, I think most people that see this, either positive or negatively, will walk away saying, but I'll still watch another Harley Quinn film. And the other characters in this movie are pretty cool too. This is not necessarily a Birds of Prey movie, and I will get into that more in another section of this review, but the Birds of Prey themselves, Black Canary and the other two, the Huntress and the cop chick, can't remember the cop chick's name, but you get a lot of origin of those characters. You get times where the story kind of takes place and shows how they came to be or explains where they are, and they're very entertaining characters as well too. They're not as fleshed out as Margot Robbie or as Harley Quinn, I should say, but there's certainly characters in here that don't feel like distractions. You don't get these side characters you're like, okay, I don't care, go back to Harley Quinn. No, you enjoy watching them. And the movie just has a great sense of fun. This might be, in competition with Shazam for the most fun DCEU film so far. It's just an enjoyable movie. Whether or not you like everything that it brings, it's entertaining all the way through. I think that was their main game plan, was to nail the style and the tone of Harley Quinn and also just have a blast along the way. And for the most part, I think everybody that watches this is going to have a blast along the way. With the style, with the characters, the action scenes are really fun. They're kind of unique with the way that they're stylized. There's some good humor thrown in there once in a while. It's also R-rated, so they're kind of going for a lot more F-bombs in this. And there's a couple of them that are pretty well placed, Harley fucking Quinn. And I also liked Ewan McGregor as Black Mask or Roman Sionis. I think that he was a good villain for this film. I would have liked to see more with him, but for what he is to do here, as far as being the antagonist of this story in a story that is embodied with antagonists, there's not a hero in sight. You either get kind of evil people doing some somewhat good things and really evil people doing no good things. And Roman Sionis is kind of the figurehead of this whole side of that camp. I think that he looks cool. I think Ewan McGregor's having a blast in the role. I love the dude as an actor, especially after Dr. Sleep last year. I'm kind of on a high and I want to see everything that this guy does. He's great in the role. Black Mask, as far as the black skull and everything, when he finally does put that on, it looks great, looks comic accurate. So for all you guys out there that are sticklers for that, you'll be happy. I just wish we could have got a little bit more with him. He's a character that I think is very interesting. He's a Batman villain that I've wanted to see in a Batman film for a very long time. And maybe we'll see a different version in the whole Battinson universe whenever that gets rolling. But as far as just this little standalone movie like this, putting him in here as the villain, he was crazy, he was entertaining, he was sadistic. I liked him. Now, as far as things that I'm mixed on, the big one with this one is going to shock a lot of people coming from me. But it's the R rating. This is a movie that felt PG-13 in the trailers, and then they made a big announcement about it, at least what seemed big on social media, like officially rated R. And it didn't get me pumped any more than I already was. I was just like, okay, we'll see. Maybe it's a little more violent. Maybe it's just gonna be a few more F-bombs. Maybe they'll throw a titty or two in there. Who knows? But when you watch the film, I have to be honest, the R rating felt forced to me. It was fun, it didn't distract it, it wasn't like it was obnoxious or there was things that I would have taken out necessarily, but when you have a movie franchise that's predominantly, or at least in this universe, entirely PG-13, and then you transition one of the characters into rated R, it usually is to hammer something home. Like when you have Deadpool, that character just embodies R-rated humor and crass humor and throwing out F-bombs and all these other very creative swear words out there. And there's no other way to show an accurate Deadpool without an R rating. You show Wolverine like you did in Logan, and you wanted to show a more grizzled, grounded, brutal Logan and have him be chopping off limbs and throwing out F-bombs and everything, and you cannot do that movie without an R rating. I could see Birds of Prey PG-13 and the movie would not be any different. There's a lot more F-bombs. There's a couple ones that I liked. A lot of them just kind of felt like they were thrown in there because they wanted it to be rated R. There's a couple of somewhat gruesome scenes, not nearly as gruesome as things that I've seen, obviously, in the horror sphere, but, definitely a little bit more gruesome than some of the stuff we've seen in the DCEU thus far. Certainly more gruesome than anything we've seen in Marvel. But there was nothing that was like, this is why this movie had to be rated R. And I fear that it's going to cause a little bit of weirdness later on, like if it's not going to be rated R forever and always as far as the Harley Quinn character, which I highly doubt they're going to do, if we do get more with Harley Quinn, or if we do get a movie within the DCEU that has a Batman that comes along to fight Harley Quinn, or we get Jared Leto's Joker back at some point, crazier things that have happened. But nonetheless, if we get more of this character and it's not in a rated R movie, is it going to feel weird now? If we get a movie that makes sense to be PG-13 that they're not going to make rated R and you have Harley Quinn in there and she's not throwing out F-bombs, or if you have a movie with her and there's a villain out there and because it's PG-13 he's not going to be portrayed as gruesomely as Roman Sionis is with some of the things that he's doing involving removal of flesh, is it going to hurt this newer film that's PG-13? Is it going to feel neutered compared to Birds of Prey? It sets a weird precedent for me. So I don't know. I don't understand why this movie was rated R, I guess. It didn't distract, that's why it's in the mix. It didn't take anything away from the movie, but it certainly did not add a single thing for me. Now the negatives, and the big one is story. This movie does not have a whole lot of story for it. It's all style, it's all kind of characters doing character things. It's all just kind of seeing Margot Robbie as this character let loose in Gotham City and having a blast. The story in and of itself is literally just the Harley Quinn broke up with Joker and now she's a little bit pissed off about it, and Roman Sionis has this diamond stolen from him by this little girl, and how those two stories intertwine. It's really, it doesn't go for any big reaches. It doesn't have any like things that add to the lore of the universe. It doesn't leave tail ends where you can't wait for it to be picked up in another movie. It's just really about getting these characters together and watching them do some crazy things and kick ass for a little while. And as somebody that really does put story first most times when I watch movies, that definitely was something I noticed while watching Birds of Prey. I also didn't really get a whole lot out of Victor Zsasz or any of the other kind of villain henchmen in this. I feel like there was a big opportunity to really flesh out this movie with a lot of great Batman villains, and you have Black Mask, who's the main one. You have Victor Zsasz that is so kind of subtle with the way that he's introduced and utilized, to where if you didn't know Batman lore, you wouldn't even realize that that was a character that actually has lore in this universe. You would think he was just a henchman that was created for this movie. And then all the other randoms in here aren't really characters that I recognized, or they're just not big characters in the comics, period. And to me, it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. I mean, Black Mask was pretty good. Everybody else was just kind of like, they could be anybody. And while this isn't the fault of the movie itself, it is something that is worth talking about, and that's the fact that this is not a Birds of Prey movie. This is not Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn. This is the Harley Quinn standalone movie that they've been talking about for years, and they just kind of tacked in a backdoor pilot for a Birds of Prey movie within this movie. It's not tacked on to the point that it feels useless or has no point in this movie. It's actually woven in pretty good, but the Birds of Prey themselves don't come along until the last 15 minutes of this movie. Like, you get Harley Quinn the movie, and then you get Birds of Prey at the very end of it, and then credits roll. Now, it's cool. I would probably watch a Birds of Prey movie, but calling this movie Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn is kind of stupid. And I think that they're gonna see the results of that in the box office, because Harley Quinn is the draw. Harley Quinn is the focus of this film. Harley Quinn is the reason most people are gonna go see this. Harley Quinn is the reason this movie even exists in the first place, because if Margot Robbie or Harley Quinn was not as beloved as they were, this would have never been greenlit. So just call the fucking thing Harley Quinn, because nobody knows what the hell Birds of Prey are that is not a comic book fan. Dumb. But overall, guys, I had fun with this. I think if you're a fan of the DC universe, if you're a fan of the DC movies we've had thus far, if you're a fan of Margot Robbie or even just the character of Harley Quinn, it's a must watch, and I think the majority of us out there that are fans of all those things will enjoy this movie. But this is not a movie that's going to be a standout comic book film of the year. It's not a movie that's going to be a standout movie from the DCEU, and it's certainly a movie that's not going to break any new molds. It's here purely to entertain, and I think that it delivers that. Few stumbles along the way, but as far as entertainment, as far as fun, this movie nails it. So if you love Harley Quinn or the DC universe, definitely check this thing out. It is a lot of fun. Just don't expect anything beyond having some crazy, zany entertainment, and you will enjoy this. So check this thing out in theaters, and when it hits the shelves, go out and buy it. So what do you guys think of Birds of Prey? Did you have fun with this one? Were you looking forward to it? Do you think that Margot Robbie and Harley Quinn can carry a film, or do you just want to see her as a side character and this is enough of the Harley Quinn solo stuff? Let me know down below what you think about it. Are you hyped for Wonder Woman 84? I think that's the next one we got coming down the pipe. Let me know. Like and share this video if you have not already. Please hit that subscribe button. And for now, and as always, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.